Yeah, sorry, I was just getting some stuff ready. Yeah, what's going on, guys? Thanks for showing up. We got 28 people in here, 28 beautiful real estate investors trying to retire this year, hopefully. So, thanks for showing up, guys. We are, like Angie said, we're just gonna make some live calls today. So we are targeting some low equity subject to deals. Thanks, John. Yeah, we're going to be targeting some low equity subject to deals. Joey, myself, Austin are all going to be making calls, and we encourage you guys to make some calls too. So if you have lists you're calling, whether they be foreclosures, whatever, if you want to make some live calls with us, feel free to. So sweet. Yeah. Excited to get started with you guys. First of all, let me just show you guys if you're not familiar with who we are or what we do, we are sub two students. We are leaders in the Elephant Challenge. We've been doing this for a long time now. It feels like we go live every week on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. and we make live calls. We underwrite deals. We walk sellers through contracts. We help you with your guys' leads. We answer questions, you name it. We are doing it. So first thing I'll show you guys is just our Facebook group. So we have our very own Facebook group called Herd of Profits. If you're not already a member, you are sleeping. I'm going to drop the link to that in the chat right now. So that's the Facebook group. If you guys want to go request to join that. We also have our own YouTube channel, Angie Milanazzo. Dropping the link to that in the chat as well. If you guys want to go subscribe, like I said, we go live. We're live right now. 3 people already watching on YouTube. So if you guys are looking for more content to consume while you're driving, while you're working out, whatever the case may be, again, we've been doing a ton of Zoom. So feel free to scroll through some of these, getting into the weeds of subject to live calls, teaching agents and wholesalers what a good deal looks like, how to find deals driving for dollars. So tons of good content and resources for you guys. It looks like Rachel just dropped the links for everything else too. So in the chat that Rachel just dropped, we also have a link to our Discord channel. So this is really the space that we're trying to grow our community on is Discord. So if you come to links, so if you join Discord, you have to hit this verification. You have to hit this check mark right here, and then you'll get access to all the other channels. We just want to make sure that we're not letting a ton of bots in. There's a link to Angie's TikTok if you guys want to watch Angie's TikTok, but the Discord link is right here. I'm going to just repaste it. Launchpass.com/reps. But yeah, one of the main reasons we do these Zooms, as most of you guys know, is for our JV program. So we have a joint venture program. If you have leads or deals you're working on and you're stuck on them, you're not sure what a good offer would look like or how to negotiate a subject to or how to find a buyer, we hope you think of us when you need that help, and you can submit the lead to us either through the direct to agent lead form or the direct to seller lead form. And this is what it looks like. It asks for your contact information, info about the agent, the seller, the property details, your 4 pillars, and all that good stuff. So if you guys have leads you're working on, you need help with, feel free to fill out the lead form links, and tons of other resources in the Discord. We have a virtual office every Tuesday and Thursday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. That's Mountain Standard Time. So yeah, definitely tap into the Discord, but we're going to jump right into it. So I am using my filter on PropStream. I think most of you guys have maybe seen it. If you haven't, I'll just show it because we show it all the time anyways. Let me pull it up real quick so I have it for you guys. Hopefully. Okay. Sweet. So if you guys use PropStream, that's the software we use the most, I would say, is PropStream. I use this, 100 times, 200 times a day, PropStream. This is the filter that we use. If you guys want to screenshot this, take a picture of it, highly recommend you do so. This one filter has made us a lot of money. This is our subject to on market low equity filter. So we're looking for 3 beds and 2 baths. We're targeting homes under 550,000 with a loan to value of 80% and an interest rate below 4.5. So we use this filter. You can type in Maricopa County, Arizona, and boom, here's 40 active listings that have low equity with good interest rates. Now, sometimes the data is not always accurate. PropStream is estimating their value at 422. You can see they're pretty close. They're listed for 435. That's a VA. They owe 356. That gives them about 65 grand worth of equity after they pay agent commissions and closing costs, right? They might expect to walk away with 20 grand. So if we come in and say, hey, we'll give you 30 grand, let us just take over your 2.9% interest rate, right? That's a great deal for us. They make more money on market. We pay their agent as well. So that's the filter we're going to be calling on today. So shoot, am I missing anything, Joey? No? Are you ready? All right, we're going to start making calls, you guys. It's going to be quiet until we get a phone call. So hopefully you guys can stay in the silence. If you just want to watch, that's what we're going to be doing. But we encourage you to make calls with us. So if you get an agent or a seller on the phone, feel free, if no one's talking, just to unmute and let us listen to your conversation.
Yeah. Just a point. Thank you. They answer, they're just transfer me to the agent.
No, the property information, you do not leave a message here.
She didn't answer.
Okay, sweet. So if you guys want to make phone calls with us, like I said, feel free to unmute if no one is actively on the phone with having a conversation. And yeah, let's see if we can't lock up a deal as a team right now. So I'm gonna mute until I get someone on the phone. If you guys have any questions, feel free to raise your hand or post in the chat.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I'm a real estate investor. I'm not an agent. My team and I were just looking for properties to add to our portfolio. Have you had a lot of investor activity on this one? Gotcha. Okay. Well, one of the reasons I identify this as a potential property for us is just because, I can see your kids haven't owned it long. They don't have much equity. I would be interested in submitting a subject to offer. Have you gotten any of those so far?
No.
Gotcha. Okay. Have you had a conversation with your client about a possible subject to transaction?
No, we're more focused on selling through a VA assumption loan.
Gotcha.
Because more than likely, any investor is going to cause my client to have to come out of pocket thousands of dollars. And, it's not the right move for him. It's really, in my opinion, it's not the right move for many people. So I don't think we would be interested.
Gotcha. And yeah, I totally understand, especially as a VA, he doesn't want to sacrifice his entitlement. It's not a good fit for everybody. Is his goal to turn around and buy his next home?
No, he's actually going to lose his eligibility when he sells it, when he sells it on the assumable loan. But he's going to come out of this unscathed. And I actually think we have had the conversation about subject to, and it's just I talked with my broker about him. It doesn't seem like a smart move. I'll be happy to talk to him about it though.
Sure. Well, I'd like to put an offer in front of him anyways, just to, get his thoughts and actually have him, look at a real offer. And yeah, we're definitely not interested in lowballing him. So I see he's listed at 565. Public record shows me it was roughly around 535. So if he was to get a conventional offer right after closing costs and commissions, he's about at break even point. So I would at least be able to put five to $15,000 in his pocket, pay your commissions on top of that, and pay all the closing costs. Just because I see he has a good interest rate, and that's just what we're looking to capitalize on.
Right.
And of course, right, he doesn't know me. I don't know him. I wouldn't just let anybody take over my mortgage that I don't know. So I'll send you some info about our company. We're very reputable. We've done this all over the country for quite a few years now. So if there's any questions about what happens if we miss payments, all that good stuff, I'll put that in. I'll send also some frequently asked questions about subject to, and we'll go from there. Like I said, I understand it's maybe not everybody's first choice, but if he can, come in the positive 10 grand and get his mortgage paid every month, it could be a win-win. So,
Fair enough.
okay, sounds good. Let me see if I have a good email for you.
Hold on, I'm getting another call.
Go ahead. So right away, you can hear his tone like he thought I was going to lowball him or whatever, right? So, and he already said his this as a veteran, right? That's typically the hard side.
Okay, sorry.
No worries. I'm not seeing a good email for you, Jeremy. What would be a good email?
You guys have MLS access? It's all over the MLS.
I don't.
Jerstein@hotmail.com. JERS for Sam, T for Tom, EIN for Nancy @hotmail.com.
Okay. So, could you say it one more time? I'm sorry.
JERSTEIN @hotmail.com.
Easy enough. Okay. Appreciate your time.
Okay.
I'll send you over something here shortly.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Jeremy. Take care.
Bye.
Sweet. So, like I said, right, he said his client was planning to lose their entitlement anyways through a loan assumption, which isn't always the case. If another veteran assumes their loan, then they get their entitlement back.
Jonathan, my name's Joey. Your listing on Mountain View Street.
What can I do?
Yeah, I'm just a investor in the area. We bought a lot of properties all the way from Springs to Fort Collins. We're just trying to buy everything in Colorado. Uh, but my assistant actually sent me this one specifically because, and my notes may be wrong. Is this a short sale?
No,
No.
not.
Okay. Then I gotta fire my data guy.
No, but I mean, yeah. So, and we're actually, I don't know if you saw, but we're actually in the contract.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got, I guess, maybe it's been about a couple days. It's today, yeah, about 4 days.
Okay. If you don't mind me asking, is it just a all cash offer or is it like a subject to?
It's a subject to.
Awesome. Dang, they beat us to it. I wish we could have got here first and maybe got them a little bit more money.
Well, if it doesn't work out, feel free to come on back.
Yeah, well, do you still want me to shoot you a backup offer just in case they don't perform?
Sure, of course. Well,
Okay, awesome. I have Jonathan at searchdenverhomes.com.
you got it.
Awesome. Well, sweet, man. I will shoot you a backup offer. Hopefully they pull through on that contract and they just close and get your sellers out of it. But if not, we'll still be here.
Yeah, feel free to do so.
Awesome. And while I got you on the phone, man, do you got any other listings, low equity, or I mean, even cash deals? I'll look at something that needs a lot of rehab that I could flip.
Not right now. No, majority of what I have is condos downtown that are not in those kind of positions.
Okay, gotcha. Well, sweet. Well, I'll shoot you this backup offer. And I'll be following up with you probably the next few weeks, see if they close.
Okay, sounds good.
Sweet. Thanks, Jonathan. Appreciate it. Bye. Dang, someone beat us to it. But I always ask if they have more listings too every time. Don't just hang up or give up. And always ask to give a backup offer. Because you never know. These people could be trying to wholesale it and not find a buyer. We can come up and scoop it up. And we do have a buyer. Could even be us.
Sweet. Any questions so far, guys? If not, we're just gonna keep hammering.
I got sort of a random question if you got a second.
Yeah.
I'm making more calls, so I finally have more questions.
Let's go.
So when I'm doing pre-foreclosure, and when I am skip tracing, 80% of the time you get like 6 numbers. So I've been focusing on the mobile numbers. I believe that you guys said, focus on those mobile numbers. Those are the most important. But I want to hit them every single possible way. I finally got into feeling comfortable with that. So when I see that list of, like, let's say 4 numbers underneath a contact, I will call, voicemail, and text all of them. Should I refine that down some other way so that they're, if they own 2 numbers, am I thinking about this too much, or am I doing the right thing? Just like hit everything.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think if you're going through forewarn now, again, still just target the mobiles. If you were skip tracing on prop stream, I would say don't do that because the majority of those numbers are old and out of date. But I would say stick to, right, most of the time it's going to say they're mobile and what year they were last active. So if it's 2023, 2022, right, anything older than probably, unless they only have one, like if I forewarn myself, I've had the same number for forever. I have one active number since like 2015, but everyone else I forewarn, it's like they always have a 2023 number or 2022 number. So I would just focus on those. I would say you probably don't need to do voicemails. Texts and just calls are fine.
Okay.
That would be my feedback. Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with calling all the mobile numbers off of forewarn, because I did get forewarn, like you guys said, which is off. It's freaking amazing. So there's nothing wrong with, hitting them up and sending a text message to all 4 numbers that pull up under forewarn. But it sounds like, if I have to focus on the most recent one, 2024, 2023 number, leave all the rest behind. And so last part of that is, if I'm trying to save them to my CRM to keep everything organized. I can only save pretty much 1 number under a contact in my CRM.
Mm-hmm.
You just like put the other numbers as notes if you want to.
Yep.
Okay. So
yep, that's all I'll do. Yeah. Save them as notes. That way I can just copy it and paste it into the actual contact location and save it if I know that number is like a wrong number or a dead number.
Cool. Until we know which number is right. Perfect.
Exactly. Yep.
Appreciate you.
Sweet. Yeah, of course.
Hey, Ian, I don't know if I'm got the right person. I'm just looking for the listing agent on 1818 6th Street.
Yes, my employer is a listing agent and I'm his assistant.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. Sweet. Well, I am not an agent. I am an investor in the area. Got a lot of properties in this area. We actually closed one pretty close to university like 2 weeks ago. So just looking for more to add to our portfolio. Can you tell me a little bit about this listing? I'm surprised you guys don't have a contract. It looks like a pretty sweet home, even though it's pretty small, but it looks awesome.
I'm pretty surprised myself. Lots of showings. New roof. The home has been updated. And yeah, everything looks great. The back's all leveled out, the fence is up. The gate to the alley and a gate up front, so you can close anything in if you need to. Is the backyard, no garage.
Okay.
But yeah. But I mean, other than that, it's pretty cut and dry. It's a pretty cute little place.
Yeah, no, I like it. Looks like it could fit my buy box for sure. Now maybe my data might be wrong. It tells me this is a short sale.
No,
Okay. Is it pretty close to being one?
no, it is not.
Okay.
It's been fixed up, and now the seller's trying to sell it.
Okay. Was it a fix and flip for them, or they just were living in it and wanted to make it a little nicer?
You know, gentleman that lived in the property was in bad health, and so he, and I guess you could call him an investor slash friend, bought the property and then rented it back to him for a while. And
Okay.
then when he passed away, they went ahead and fixed it up to sell it.
Okay, makes sense. Do you know if
He was going to buy it to scrap, and then the guy was like, "Oh, can I rent for a little bit longer?" I want to. That's basically what happened. Yeah.
gotcha? Okay. Well, I mean, I'd love to put an offer on it. I think a cash offer for me, it might be now my tools show me that they owe like three something on it. Is that way wrong?
Well, yes, that is. Well, quite to tell you the truth, I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, because I just have my assistants. What they do is they gather a bunch of data in Colorado and a bunch of other states, um,
Mm-hmm.
from like title companies give it to us of all short sales in the area because we specify in buying properties from people with low equity. And I'm sure you've probably been bombarded by 200 people about a subject to offer.
Yeah,
But I think I could probably get them the most money if they're open to something creative. My cash offer, I don't think they're gonna like it very much.
probably not.
Yeah, my cash offer is in the low twos.
No, yeah, that'd be a big NO. So, what's your next one?
If I were to do something creative, I'd look to like at least try to put all their equity in their pocket, pay your commission, pay closing costs, and just take over those payments.
Let's see, go over the payments. Let's see. You know what? I'd have to have you talk with the listing agent.
Okay.
Can't say. Um, but I think they just want a full price offer just to get it done.
I mean, that's basically what my offer is. It'll be a full
Yeah.
price. They'll be done with it, right? Like you said, he was an investor himself, so even if we have to tack on a little bit more equity and just have him carry it and give him some monthly income on it, so turn him into the bank instead of a landlord.
Yeah, not quite sure what he feels. How about I have the listing agent give you a call? And actually, he's about ready to go to Spanish class of all things. He'll probably call you back either later tonight or tomorrow. Does that work okay for you?
Yep, that works perfect.
And then I'll give him the skinny of it. Yeah, she's getting right around the door. And then that way he'll have a heads up. Can I see? I got your number. I'm guessing this is your direct number on my phone.
Yes, it is.
And your first name,
It is Joey.
Joey. Okay. And your last name.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to spell it for you. It's a mouthful.
That's right.
It's Milin as in Nancy, Azzo. Milanazo.
Oh, that's a fun name.
Yeah.
I like it. Milanazo. It's almost phonetic. It almost maybe get close.
You'd be surprised how many people say Milizano. I don't know how they put the Z in front, but that's the most mispronounced way they say it.
Well, it's kind of funny with realtor. It's like realtor. Everybody wants to throw an I in there. She's all too. People are fun. All right, I got your number, and I will pass on the message and have Matt Vet give you a call.
Okay, sweet. Thank you so much.
Like I said, it might not be tonight, but it'll be tomorrow for sure.
Okay. Well, awesome.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, Joey.
Thanks. You have a good night.
You too.
Thank you. Bye. We'll see where that one goes. I think she's wrong. I think because she's the assistant, she doesn't know. Pretty sure this is a short sale. It says they owe 340 and they're listed for 300. So they're listed 40K under what they owe. Um, it's definitely a short sale. I would assume because they bought it for, or let me see. Yeah, he bought it for 370 3 years ago. And there's no way, unless you put a huge down payment, which I'm not seeing that he's paid over $100,000 of it in 3 years. Um, I would assume this is a short sale. So we'll see where that one goes. But short sales are the best ones. We could stop the short sale because the short sale kills their credit. It's almost it's like a step underneath a foreclosure. It'll ruin their credit for the next 7 years, right? They lose money. The bank gets the house, or sorry, the bank got to approve for somebody to get a huge discount. They don't get their equity, if there is any, in air quotes, equity. But buyers like us can come in and actually put some money in their pocket and not have to ruin their credit. So go after short sales. They're a little harder to work with the agents, but because agents do get their full commission on a short sale. That's why we try to tell them, we'll just pay your full listing side and we'll be unrepresented. Um, but Robert, it looks like you got a question. I don't think anybody's on the phone. What's that, man?
Yeah, thanks, Joey. Realistically, there isn't any down payment as such with sub two. In lieu of that, we're actually paying the agent's fee, the closing costs, the back liens, money to the seller. That package is the down payment, right?
Yeah, essentially the down payment, right? Especially just I call it putting their equity in their pocket.
Yeah, so we're solving 4 or 5 things at once, plus getting a good deal in the long run, hopefully.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, thanks, man.
Yep, no problem. Sounds like nope, he's not. Who's trying to make a call? Somebody get brave and raise your hand and make a call. That's the only way to get better is just to mess up. Me and Dylan sucked for 7 months straight. We're terrible. Didn't even know what to say. Freezing up on the phone. But
Hey,
obviously, if
Joey,
you do 100 today, what's up, Simon?
got a question on a sub two deal that I couldn't get past the actual realtor today, but you could see that the property's been on the market for a while, and the actual numbers look that the interest rate's right. The owner, the seller, has up to the neck in it, but she just won't even put the deal to the actual seller. But she doesn't even. I tried to question her about the actual sub two strategy with her, and she kind of come back to me to and give me a load of garbage. To be fair, you could tell it that she wasn't interested. At what point do you decide to go round her, or don't you?
Right there. If they won't present my offer, I'll call their seller the minute I hung up on with the agent.
Right.
Some people say different, some people say right, but I follow what Pace says, right? He's the guy who does this the best out of anybody, right? In the I'd say the world. And I follow what my mentor says. He says if the agent does not want to work with you and they're telling you to F off, call that seller right away. Every single time. Unless you're licensed in that state. If you're an agent in that state, you can't do that.
Right. Okay.
But if you're not an agent, go ahead.
And I've
I've
got
got a
another.
lot of deals like that where I call the seller, pitch it to them. They're like, "What? I'd be really open to this." Like, yeah, well,
Right.
your agent said no for you.
And then there's another one that I've got that as I think just before they've decided to put it under contract, they've asked for backup sub two deals, like you've just said to that guy. Is that kind of a waste of time, or is it just an exercise that you do anyway?
No, it's not a waste of time. I mean, most of the time it won't work, right? You're just a backup offer. Usually they're going to close. I mean, but it is not a waste of time because that you never know. It could be a wholesaler who has it under contract. He can't find a buyer. He has it locked up too high, and then he ends up not performing. We could come in our backup offer. They accept it, and we actually have a buyer ready to go, or we're buying it, right?
Right. Should I?
So it's not a waste of time.
Right. Should I bring these to you for in terms of putting these together?
Yeah, sure. And just put in the notes, say backup offer.
Okay. All right. Smash it. Thanks for that.
Yep, no problem. I'm gonna dial some more. I want somebody who hasn't made a call come up here and make a call. Let's see who's gonna do it. I got a present for you. It's a bloomin' onion to Outback.
You got a
Free
number you
bloomin'
want me to
onion to
call?
the first one who makes a call. What's up, Oliver?
You got a number you want me to call, or do you want to hear me ring pre-foreclosures?
Yeah,
It's a lot of ringing.
ring them. Yeah, ring them.
You got
But you don't get the blooming onion. You're good at phone calls, Oliver.
it.
You've done a lot of them. I want somebody who's
I'm not doing
I
it
still want you to
anymore.
call. I want them to hear you too. I like it's good for people to hear. Everyone has their own strategy, right? My phone call sounds different than Dylan's. Dylan's is gonna sound different than Oliver's. It's cool to hear how everybody attacks a phone call, right? Everybody's got their own little strategies and little things they say.
Every pre-foreclosure phone call I make, I change one word every time. It's ridiculous.
Love it.
Here, let me get someone on the phone and then I'll unmute.
Yeah, yeah. I'm doing the same thing I'm dialing right now.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll start making calls.
If anybody has a question, go ahead and ask it while I'm trying to dial. Try to answer you before they answer. I want to see in the chat how many people have never called a seller or an agent, and you're in here right now. I want to know how many people. Let me see it. Who's never called an agent or a seller? Don't be shy. So everyone in here has made a call. I haven't seen anything. Okay. Holly Cross. She's never made a call. Holly, you want to make one today? I got a number for you. Where are you? Not yet. Got it, Holly. You can mess up. This is a safe place. This is a safe place. You can mess up in here. Well, all we're gonna do is you're just gonna learn from it. Guy Stevens made 35 calls. Let's go, guy. This week. Let's go. Been calling for a couple weeks now. Two guys met in Facebook group. Contract sent. Nice, good stuff, Corey. All right, nobody's answering me right now. You guys will find that agents don't answer their phone. It is really hard to get them on the phone. They're always vacationing. I don't know how. All right, let's see if this person will answer me. Yeah, now you know the crowd. Nope. Ah, striking out right now. Excuse me. Nope. You're sweet. Here's a good one. Let's call this guy. Let's try this guy now. Come on, somebody's got to answer, right? Hey, is this Aaron?
It sure is.
Hey, Aaron, my name is Joey. I am just calling about your listing on West 23rd. Yes, I am an investor in the area and just would love to shoot an offer on this one. And I just scrolled up and just saw, are you guys under contract?
Yeah, we're under contract and we close in like 10 days, I think.
Oh man, I wish I could have called you earlier.
Yeah, no worries. Well, we're all good on this one. It's about stuff, or I can keep your name and phone number if it falls through.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you have any other listings, I'd love to take a look at them.
Yeah. Yeah, you're an investor, so are you looking for flips or?
I look for it all. So we do buy and holds, a lot of rentals, but I also do a lot of flips. My flips really pulled back a lot in the last year or two. Unless I need them at like 60, 70% of ARV, then I can do it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, the only other listing I have right now is 1.53, and I don't think that it really fits that scenario.
Yeah, and also anything low equity. I'm a subject to buyer as well. Sure, you've probably been bombarded by a billion people on this one for that.
You know it. You know it.
So if you get anything low equity, I'll pay your commission. I'll pay the closing costs and try to get your seller like 5 to 15K over whatever they're going to make on market.
Well, I appreciate that.
Sweet. Well, thank you so much.
Good one.
You too.
Bye.
Oh, one of my attorneys calling me. I got to answer this. You guys can't hear this stuff.
Okay.
Corey says he has one. Corey, one. Come on up.
Can you hear me? Can you guys
Yeah.
hear me?
Yep.
What's up, Corey?
All right, I got one. I'll try and call. Okay.
Right on. Carol, you have a question? Corey, if you get them to answer, just start talking. We'll shut up.
Well, let me make sure that was the right number. 217 235 4848. I don't know what that is. It's let me try a different one. That number didn't seem to work.
Yeah.
I'll mute myself and try to find another one.
No worries. Carol, you have a question?
I do. Can you hear me okay?
It's a little quiet, but I can hear you.
Okay, I should have it louder. So I got a couple of leads from another wholesaler today. And they need some help dispoing, some properties. They're both duplexes. And Rachel coached me to use the dispo form. And so as I try to fill it out, there's a lot of information that doesn't jive. It's like asking for the agents. Let me start from the beginning. So I'm the JV partner on there, right?
What's that, man? Yeah, if you could. Thanks. Yes. So you would be the JV partner.
Okay, and then, it asks for their purchase agreement. Do I need to get that from them?
If you can get that, we'd prefer to see it just so we know that we're dealing with the wholesaler that actually is holding the contract. But many wholesalers, including myself, unless I have an actual buyer, I'm not sending my contracts out either. So if you don't have it, feel free to just upload a blank document in there.
Oh, okay. These guys are highly reputable. The other question, then it asked me for agent's contact information. There's not an agent involved.
That's fine. So
Okay.
that field's not mandatory. So you don't have to fill that out. You can leave that blank.
Seller's name information, of course.
Yeah. So how our system works is every contact is the seller. So for that contact, it's going to be the seller because Carol, you upload a lot of stuff into the system. So we can only have one contact. The system can't have duplicates. So that's why we need that seller's number or sorry, name. So if you have PropStream, Privy, you can also find it on public record. If you're struggling to find it, just type in Jane Doe or just come up with a funny name and we'll find it. But that's just how our system stores contacts is by the seller's name.
Okay, okay, I got it. So nowhere here do I put the wholesaler's name. He would then come back to me.
Yeah, so there should be, let's see, I'm looking at the form now. It says additional information under the suggested exit strategy. Just put their name in there.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carol. Appreciate you. Sweet. All right, I'm gonna keep going. I called one, just got like a gatekeeper. He just took my information down, said he'd call me back.
I got a quick one before you dial. Question.
Yeah.
So when I skip trace, it only skip traces one of the people on the mortgage, but a lot of times I see that there's a second person on the mortgage. If I can't get through with the first person, would it make sense to skip trace the second person and see what they have to say?
Absolutely. I always, for me, whenever I'm calling, if I see a husband and wife on a property, I don't know if it's just me, but I have better luck with guys. I feel like husbands are nicer for some reason, generally, right? That's just a generalization, but I prefer to skip trace whoever I think the guy is, and I'll call them first. And then if I can't get them to answer, then I'll skip trace their spouse.
Perfect. So not a waste of time. That's what I needed to hear.
No, yeah, they both own it. So they're going to be just, they're both decision makers either way. So one or the other. I remember one deal that we closed on Cloud Road in Texas. I called the husband twice. He didn't answer. I called the wife twice and she answered on the second phone call. Turns out they were both at like their Sunday service or whatever. She said, well, I saw you called my husband twice. You called me twice. So I figured I might as well answer it. So who knows? They could be together and see that you're calling them. They might answer that for that reason as well.
Yeah. People like to pretend that they're being bugged, but just get on the phone.
Exactly. Yep. Okay. Let's see if I found this one. Find that. They bought it in May, so their interest rate's probably 5%. That's sick. Hi, Desiree.
This is
Yeah, my name is Dylan. I'm just calling about your listing on North 74th Street, number 152. Awesome. Yeah, so I'm a real estate investor. I'm not an agent. My team and I were just looking for some properties to add to our portfolio. Have you had a lot of investor activity on this one so far?
investor activity. No.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I'm the first. That's good. How's the showing been or listings been going besides that? A lot of showings. It's pretty new, right?
It is pretty new. It's a very niche, like small kind of community. It's a small little unit. So there's a lot of like elderly people who live in that neighborhood.
Gotcha.
And so it's a little bit of a different type of sale. It's not like it's age restricted, but most people who live in there are older.
Gotcha. Okay. Makes sense. I mean, besides that, the actual unit looks like it's in good shape. Looks pretty turnkey to us. Well, yeah. So one of the reasons this property came across my radar is I see that your client hasn't owned it for very long, and they don't have much equity. So I'd be interested in submitting a subject to offer. Are you familiar with those?
I am.
Awesome. Okay. Have you haven't received any on this one so far though?
No.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So basically with us, right, what I'll do is I'll run a net sheet, right? So public record shows me she owes give or take around 265. I see she's listed for 285. I'm going to see with some estimates about how much she would walk away with at that 285 number. And I'll try to beat that net equity by 5 to 10 grand. On top of that, I'll pay your commission and I'll pay all the closing costs. All I want is just to take over her mortgage. Is your client looking to buy their next home right away, or what does that look like?
Yes. So unfortunately, that probably won't work.
Sure.
They're gonna need the sale either to walk away with no mortgage to be able to qualify, like with the income, right? So you can't have the debt. And then second, if they make any money, they'll use that towards their down payment.
Perfect. Okay. And 100% makes sense, right? They can't buy their next home if they leave that debt in place.
Exactly.
We have done this several times. It's called a departing residence. So I'm going to send you my offer just in case. You could present it to her and see what her thoughts are. But, if she was able to show her lender a signed 12-month lease agreement proving that her mortgage would be paid, typically those lenders are able to wipe off 75% of whatever the rent is off their debt to income and get them qualified. We probably did about 5 of those last year where our clients were able to get into their next home within 30 days or less. And it worked out. So
yeah, I think the biggest thing would be understood. I understand the concept. The biggest thing is that even if you do that, if say you decided to not do that, they would be stuck with 2 mortgages, and that if you were to default in any way, and that would mess up their credit and potentially fuck them. So, it's a younger couple, and
Okay.
so it's just probably not in their best interest to do something like that. But if you give me an offer, I will present it to them and let them know the facts.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah. And 100%, I get it's definitely not everybody's first choice. It hasn't been active very long, so hopefully,
Yeah.
they get their price and they can go on their way. But, just as a last resort, another option, like I said, ideally too, we can create the upside where they do make more money than if they were to even sell at 285. And I'll send you some info about our company. We're pretty reputable. I wouldn't just let any random call me and take over my mortgage unless I knew, they knew what they were doing. So I'll send you some info about us as well, and we'll just go from there.
Sure. Thanks so much.
Okay, right on. Let me see if I have a good email for you, Desiree. I don't. I could have my agent pull it up on the MLS, or I could just write it down if you can tell me.
It's my first name dot last name at Gmail. So Desiree.settle@gmail.
Easy. Okay. Appreciate your time, Desiree. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Sweet. So obviously, right, she had her own opinions about subject to, right? And for me, I could try my hardest to overcome those objections, but at the end of the day, she's not the decision maker, right? Like she kept saying it's not in their best interest. I don't think that will work. Unfortunately, I just don't care what she thinks, right? Like I'm more concerned about what your client thinks. Again, they owe 265 and they're selling at 285. So on average, sellers will spend anywhere from 8 to 10% to sell their home, and commissions, closing costs, all that good stuff. So I'm going to just multiply 285 by 0.9 and I get 256. So they're going to lose roughly 9 grand with the sale, right? She said they're a younger couple. Do they have 9 grand they can afford to lose just to sell their home, right? Why not make 10 grand? And if I can make the departing residents work where they can get into their next home, it's a win-win. Plus, they kind of hope I default, right? Because then they keep my payment. They're already in their new home. Throw a tenant in the old one, or go and sell the next one again, right? And double dip it. So a lot of agents just have their biases. It comes from their brokers. right? All these agents have to take classes and renew their license every year, and there was a lot of information about subject 2. Angie can attest to this, in the 2024 classes. Oliver, too, I see you shaking your head. No one said it was illegal, right? But they just said, like, it's sketchy, you shouldn't do this, but it's not illegal. I don't know, Oliver, can you tell me about what you heard in that class?
Yeah, that way I don't have to type it out. Yeah, they might as well have just made up their own stuff and said it was illegal. I spent 15 minutes after the class discussing with the person that led the class. But yeah, essentially there wasn't even any factual stuff in there. It was just scare tactics. And so agents are just scared. They're scared that they're going to lose their license. They're scared that they're going to do something wrong, that they're going to go to jail. And when you get your agent's license, it's not, a lot of times it's just because you don't want to break the rules. You do want to work in a brokerage. That was my original plan. You don't want to like do anything like that. There wasn't anything specific that they said that was breaking the rules. Essentially, what I got out of the 15-minute conversation afterwards was I told her, look, my group has done this for a very long time, years. And essentially what I'm hearing is, if you break the rules, yeah, you're in trouble. But if you go through your lawyer and you make sure the contracts are correct and you're explaining to the sellers what's going on and you're being transparent about what you're doing and you have a servicing company set up and so on and so forth. And I let her through everything. She was like, no, there's nothing wrong with that. We're mostly talking about the wholesalers that are coming off of YouTube that are really screwing things up and not doing contracts correct and saying that they're one thing, but they're not actually the buyer and stuff like that. And instead of trying to explain that, they just blanket statemented everything of just sub-tube's bad. Don't do it.
I love it. Yeah. And I think that's, maybe you can attest to back when you were just getting your realtor's license. I think I'm not a realtor, so I've never taken the course, but Angie has told me this, that a lot of what they teach you is what you can't do, right? Like that's the majority of what they teach you when you're getting your license is like, don't do this, you can't do this. If you do this, you can get in trouble, you can lose your license, you can pay a fine, right? So yeah, you'll get that all the time. And don't waste a ton of time on, don't waste your breath trying to close these agents when their sellers are the decision makers, right? So I'm going to send her an offer. She said, I'll present the facts is another thing that she said too. I don't know if you guys caught that. She said, I'll lay out the facts for them, right? Like, oh, okay, so you've done a ton of subject 2 deals, everything that could happen, right? So probably not. So I'm going to send her a frequently asked questions, a fact page. Anytime I get that feeling from an agent that I just got from her, I'm most likely going to call her sellers directly. I just don't trust that she's going to present my offer. I think she's going to bring it back to her broker, and her broker is just going to tell her to say that the seller said no. I want to hear it from the seller and try to overcome her objections, not the agents. So, sweet guys. Well, I think we're going to call it there. Actually, we got 2 more questions. I don't know. Corey, do you still have a question? Or are you making calls? Everybody's frozen for me.
Well, so I called the agent and she said she'd call me back. So I'll just get on the call with her after this.
Okay, great. Yeah, we just got to shut it down, brother. But no, definitely. I mean, I think we're gonna keep making some live calls in these Zooms. So, come back next week, bring a list and start hammering the phones with us. So
yeah,
I'll get a quick question if you, sorry, mate. Sorry, carry on.
Simon, let me let Dimitri go first, and then I'll get to you, Simon.
Okay, John, appreciate guys for the Zoom. Just quick question.
Yeah.
So what's the best way kind of like go around the situation when couple going through like a divorce? They not opposed to that subject too, but the agent they didn't know like what to do because they don't want to like be both of the names be there, and they would get messages so like mortgage got paid or something. They just don't want to be in it.
Yeah, divorces are tricky. Sometimes in a divorce decree, the judge mandates that they sell the property, split the equity. They cannot be tied through a mortgage, any of that. So we get that objection all the time. I've never actually spoken to, an attorney about if they can actually sanction these sellers to get their names off the mortgage when maybe a subject to is the best fit for them. For me, Dimitri, the best thing I can use is a third party story. It's just another example of a subject to deal I've closed with a divorced couple. My go-to story is a deal we sold in Colorado Springs last year. Same thing, divorced couple. Fortunately, they were pretty cordial with themselves. They were still on speaking terms. And the agent brought it to me before he even listed it because he knew they were not going to get their asking price. And he showed them all the facts, like, your home, you're just underwater. Their home's not worth what they owe on it. So and this is because the agent was so open to subject too. He understood it. He thought it was the best fit for his clients. So obviously, if their agent's telling them to do it, it was a lot easier job on my end. But now I have that third party story. So feel free to use that, Dimitri, whether it's my story or a story you make up. I think people close sub twos all the time with divorces. We've done it several times. So it does happen. It can be the best fit for the clients, especially if they're going to lose money. Might as well make some money instead, so just use a third party story is the best way you can handle that objection.
I appreciate it.
Yep. Right on. All right, Simon, what do you got?
Yeah, it was just clarification on the sub two strategy with the VA or the FHA loans. I know it's a sticking point, and you did mention a bit on how to get over that. And I understand the allowance on the actual VA loans moving on to their next property. So, are you saying that you can actually get over that by putting a lease option in it? Is that what
So
you
not
said?
the VAs, not veterans, but
Right.
just like conventional FHA buyers when it comes to debt to income. So
Right.
this does pertain to VA buyers. For example, if they have enough entitlement to go buy their next home, but their debt to income ratio doesn't allow them to go buy their next home. Same thing with FHA, same thing with conventional buyers. This is how people house hack. So if you guys are familiar with the house hack strategy, I do this. I bought my primary residence with an FHA loan. I put 3.5% down. I still live in the home, but if I wanted to, I could just rent that home out on a 12-month lease. As my mortgage is about $2,600. So if I could get 3,500 in rent, give or take, they'd be able to take that 3,500, 75% of that 3,500, which is $2,600, and eliminate that from my debt to income. So essentially, they're clearing my full mortgage payment off my debt to income, and now I can go and buy another home. So that's like the house hacking strategy. That mechanism is called departing residence. That's what they refer to it in the lending world, departing residence. It's when you're going to depart your primary and go buy another primary.
Okay, is that the only barrier with the VA loan and the entitlements? That's the main thing, isn't it? Like you say, debt to income and the actual allowance that they get. But if there's two people that live in the residence that have two allowances, that is equally sorted out on the next property as well. That's allowed on the next property, which releases them from the actual sub two type of thing. But initially, the sub two strategy, it could be held up because of that reason.
So if both husband and wife are veterans, typically they don't max out their VA eligibility because it's doubled. So they're going to be, more conservative. So like a deal we just closed in Florida, same thing VA, same thing we did a departing residence. So, but both the husband and wife were veterans. I had my lender check their certificate of entitlement, their COE. Turns out the wife basically used all of her entitlement, but the husband still had all of his. So they had enough entitlement to go buy a $385,000 house.
Okay.
It was their primary. So we signed a lease agreement showing that we would cover their mortgage and then some. And so that covered their debt to income. So now they had enough entitlement and they had a good enough debt to income ratio to go buy their next house. So that's what they do. They go buy that house and then we close subject to with the departing residents, obviously because it's a rental. So if they see, hey, you sold this property, it's not rented, they're going to shut it down. So you have to lease it, then they buy, then you can close sub 2.
Right. Yeah, thanks for that.
Yep.
Cheers.
Perfect. Right on. Mr. John Reardon, I'll let you get the last question, brother.
Yeah, I was wondering if you wanted to shut this down. Thanks, though. I know you guys are working on direct to agent primarily. This is just like in general. So I got a situation where a daughter reached out indirectly to me. Her father's on her deathbed, and the wife just died last week. Both the wife and the husband are on title. Is this going to result in like a quiet title type of situation where we have to remove the deceased wife so that we can deed the property into like a trust?
I believe,
right.
So the wife passed away, husband's on the deathbed, but he can still sign. He's still conscious at least, right? Like,
yeah, he just signed a last will and testament today.
Okay. So they don't need, this is a guess. I'm not too sure, but if the husband can sign, it depends on how they hold title too. But if they hold title as like joint tenants or tenants in common, I believe he can sign, especially because they're married, as long as they can prove that she has passed away with the death certificate, obviously. I believe he is like the sole decision maker. So I think you just have to work with him. I don't think you need to get her off the deed. A simple death certificate just proves that she's obviously not alive anymore. So
yeah, because this guy, he wants to set up a trust at the 11th hour, deed the property into the trust so that I mean, he probably has tons of credit card debt and he wants to leave something to his daughter. So yeah. So okay. Yeah. Just like looking at the way ahead. Yeah.
For sure. An attorney would be your best reference for that, or a title company. Just, if you have any good title reps you've worked with in the past, they'll probably be able to point that.
So
Angie, you look ridiculous.
tell me the story. I caught just the last part. So the wife died and then the husband is dying?
Yeah. So she died on Valentine's Day. And so it just broke his heart. And he's like, okay, I'm done with this. He's in like late stage cancer. And so he's just like, okay, I'm not going to take my meds anymore. So yeah, 11th hour, he's trying to get everything going. And I'm trying, say that again?
Do you have it in a trust?
No, I'm trying to help them do all of this stuff while he's like in extreme pain. I'm like, oh my goodness. So
okay,
yeah.
I'll send you a bunch of stuff. Okay. I'm going to send you some information.
Yeah, because I'm like, yeah, you need to get a state attorney on. You're probably going to have to get a real estate attorney to draft up the deed to transfer it. Like, so I'm like walking them through all of these steps.
Okay, yeah. Let me see what I can send you to help you on that.
I'll have Angie call you, John.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sweet. All right. Thank you guys so much for showing up. Hopefully you like this, just the live call. I think we got a few pretty good conversations in. These are higher level conversations with subject to, right? Joey and I just have had these conversations so many times, so we kind of know what to expect going into them. But we hope this motivates you guys to just go out there and make calls. Like if you really want to do this real estate investing thing, whatever you want to be a buyer, you want to be a wholesaler, you want to be a lender, this is your ATM machine right here. If you're not using this, you will not be successful. You just are not going to make money. Every call you make might not disperse $1, it might be the 1,000th phone call you make will disperse $10,000 though, right? So like if you're not using this, start using it. You just have to be making phone calls. If you know, especially if you want to be a wholesaler, you got to make calls. There's no other way around it. If you're new, eat shit. Just eat shit for 100 days and then come back to me, right? Like you just have to make so many phone calls and get it down. Like get your script down, get your pitch, get your cadence, mirror that seller, right? Listen to some sales books. Never Split the Difference is a really good sales book I recommend. But we just hope this motivates you guys. If you're new to making phone calls, the only 4 things you guys need to focus on when you're making phone calls is what is the price of that property? What is the condition of that property? What is the timeline that seller has? How soon do they need to sell? And what is the motivation? Why are they selling that property? And dig deeper. We have a lot of people submit leads and the motivation is they want to move. Obviously, right? Like if a seller wants to sell because they want to move, dig deeper. Why do they want to sell? Is it a divorce? Is it a job loss? Is it a what is it called? PCS? Yeah, PCS from the military, right? There's another reason. They don't just want to move just because they feel like it, right? Maybe they hate their neighbors. Maybe the house is too small. Maybe the house is too big, right? So dig deeper and get motivations. That will make you guys such better closers and just, you know, you can actually level with a seller, right? If for example, you talk to a seller that's going through a divorce, right? Maybe you can relate to them if you've gone through a divorce, or maybe you hated your neighbors, or maybe you are a growing family and you need to buy a bigger house, right? So always try to get motivation. If you're new to making phone calls, focus on those 4 things. And because we're mostly teaching direct to agent, right? You can see price and condition on Zillow. So timeline and motivation are the only things you need to dig deep for. And then if you need help with the rest of it, send it to our team and we will get an offer out or help you close the deal, whatever you need help with. So thank you guys so much for showing up. Hopefully you have a good week.
Hey, Dylan, can I throw one more thing in there? Because this just happened today and I think it's going to be useful to other people because it's been useful to people in the group. Is make the freaking calls. Even if it's just like let's have fun with this just for a second. I won't take too much time, I promise, but even if it's only like 20 minutes a day, 5 days a week, and you only make 5 calls, that's amazing. That's freaking awesome. You're on the phone. This morning on the Daily Dial, Carolyn really got hard on me in sub 2, and she was like, "You're not allowed to ask questions until I see certain KPIs." Because it's all in the calls. I'm not allowed to learn or ask questions because there are no more learning. There is no more questions. We're calling to see if they're interested. Are you interested? Fantastic. Let's bring it up the line. You make 1 call a day, 2 calls a day, 100, 300 calls a day. These are all fantastic. Don't get stuck in the learning. That's my biggest takeaway from today, because somebody at some point is going to go, look, get on your freaking phone. And that's it. That's all I had to share.
I love that, man. That's huge. Yeah, right. I love that. I think I might have to implement that, right? Like no more questions until I see you taking action. I think that's such a great call, right? Like one of my favorite movies, I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate, is Wolf of Wall Street. If your wife thinks you're a worthless piece of shit, pick up the phone and start dialing, right? Like Joey and I say that to each other constantly. So 100%. Great point, Oliver. I appreciate it, brother. Right on, guys. Thank you so much. If you need anything, tap into the Facebook group, be in the Discord, hit up Rachel. She'll point you in the right direction. Good question, Signara. I hope I said your name right, Signara. It's going to be in the Facebook group. Let me show you guys that one more time if you want to check it out. That is in the Facebook group on the feature tab. New form links right here. So right there, if you're in the Discord, it is under important links right here. So we have the Zoom times right here, and then direct to agent, direct to seller, dispo, wrap buyer, investor forms, but they'll all either be in Facebook or Discord. Thank you for asking that question. All right, guys. Stoked to see everybody in here. Have a good week. We will see you next Tuesday Actually, we'll see you in the virtual office on Thursday if you guys can make it. Thanks, guys. Peace.